So in the last class actually, Shubham, do you want to say anything?
Yes, ma'am. Do we need to type OTS, ma'am?
Actually, I have kept Proteus and circuit verse both opened. Okay, I've kept the circuit verse open also. We can do that one also. Okay, so no issues in which platform you are doing because already modules are there. Okay, just wait for again
Okay, ma'am.
because people are joining till.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so the thing is that we will be dealing with four types of flip flop. Actually, in the previous lab, I was admitting the people. And in this lab, Shayon, are you there? Professor Shayan Bhattacharya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm present.
Yes, so actually in this lab, along with me, Professor Shayan Bhattacharya is also there. So he will be assisting you if you have any requirement related to this. At least for this week, I am dealing with this topic, and let's see what is going to happen. Okay. Now let's start with the topic, and from next week onwards, please. I know this is the after the lunch break, you people are joining, so I will request Shayon to admit the people. Is it feasible for you, Shayon, to admit the people?
No, madam, I cannot admit.
Okay.
Actually, you have to.
Okay, fine. Okay, so when we are I have to do something, otherwise it is going to be very problematic. Anyways, so let's start with the flip-flop. So SR flip-flop, is it visible to you all? I hope it is visible, right? So SR flip-flop is the set and reset, right? Set, reset flip-flop. And flip-flop concept, it is not known to you. So I will just tell the brief of this concept, then we will start the practical. And I like to just do the one thing. Okay. So in this case, we will be starting with the SR flip-flop. Prior to SR flip-flop is stands for set and R stands for reset. Okay. Now the thing is that before
This
starting
call is
of the
now being
SR
recorded.
flip-flop, we will be certain things. The concept of because it is difficult for me to admit till now. Okay. I do not know. Please tell your friends that it is difficult for me to admit. I have spent nearly 10 minutes, but okay. Now, in this case, what do you mean by flip-flop? So flip-flop is basically a unit bit of memory, and you know that one memory consists of a register, and each register will be consisting of a series of bits, right? So if you think of a memory, like you have seen how to draw this concept of memory in the, so just for sake of your understanding, maybe you will be knowing this one. Till I'm just briefing that if you have a memory like this, so if you I'm just discussing this point. So if you have a memory like this, it will be a series of registers, and we used to put dot 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 here, and like 1 2 3 4 up to 64 number of registers are there, and it is consisting of 1 2 3 4, and each of this is capable of storing one bit like 1 or 0. I think I was discussing it in your COA class, right? So if you think like that way, so this all these things 1 2 3 4 4 bits means each of the bit is stored in the flip flop. So if I think that this one is what, this is one flip flop, this is going to be the another flip flop. Okay, so it is one bit, one bit, one bit, one bit storage. So this one is a register. Okay, you can say the collection of register, you will be getting the memory. Okay, so if I talk about the one bit of memory, that is nothing but the single flip flop that can store 1 or 0. Now in this case, if you think of a flip flop, so flip flop consists of this block diagram, and whatever the circuit we will be doing, that is within this block. Okay, so how many number of inputs are there? There will be basically sometimes we have two inputs and sometimes we have only a single input. Okay, now, if we talk about SR or JK, it is going to have two inputs. If we talk about D and T, in those cases, we will be having a single input. And we will be having two outputs, that is denoted by Q, and the second one is known as Q bar. Okay, so there are different types of flip-flops that are present, like you have the SR, then you have the JK, then you have the D, and then you have the T flip-flop. For these two cases, you can say there will be two inputs and two outputs definitely. And for these two cases, you will be having one input and you have the same two outputs. Okay, up to this, is it clear to you? Okay. So if you think of this device is known as a bistable device because the output will be either 1 or 0. Okay, so it can be either 1 or 0. So if you think of this one, that the device is like this, so depending on the input, you will be getting the output. Now, one line of output can be 1 or 0. That's why there will be two stable state. Okay, so it is also known as the bistable device. So in the application part of flip-flop, if you see that a flip-flop is nothing but the electronic device, that is the circuit, that is having two stable state. I told you this, okay, and this is used to store the binary data. Okay, and the stored data may be changed by applying the varying inputs. So if the inputs that are given to the flip-flop are going to be changed, and one point I like to tell, there is one clock. If the clock is also going to be changed, then it is reflected, the outputs are going to be changed. Okay, now if I talk about the application of flip-flop, so it can be the register or it can be the counter or it can be the memory unit. Okay, so register, I told you, if you think of the register, it can be of maybe of 4 or 5 bits. Okay, a counter, from the name itself you can find that either it can be the up counter or it can be the down counter. And you know that in the incremented circuit of COA, you have incremented the values by 1 bit. Okay, so that can be thought of as a counter. Okay, so this is an memory unit. I have drawn the figure of the memory unit, and you have already studied that one. Okay, Now, how many types of flip-flops are there? Do you up to this? Do you have any query? You please just tell me if you have any query or not. Just wait. I request all of you please be in the proper time. Otherwise, it is very difficult to handle both admitting people and just continuing with the lecture. Okay. Okay. So the thing is that I was telling you that SR, JK, T, and D are the four basic flip flops, and apart from that, you have the master slave flip flop. And master slave is basically the modified JK flip flop. Okay, one portion of the JK flip flop is will be acting as the master. Another, you can say you have just learned the concept of cascading, right? So another JK flip flop that will be acting as a slave. Okay. So do you have any query till now? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So we can think of the first one. I will not tell everything in too much detail. That will be covered in your theory class. So I will be the thing that is required. That portion only I will be covering. Okay. Now, this is the truth table of the SR flip-flop. Okay. Now, SR flip-flop you can find from this figure, that is from this block diagram, that if both the inputs are 0, 0, then the output is not going to be changed. That is known as the no change. If S and R both values are 0, 1, then that concept is known as the reset. See, this is the thing you are knowing just in the first class. This is your first class in theory you have not yet done. If you have any query, please do not hesitate to ask me, okay? Because it is not done, because the last day parallel ladder already I have told you in that class, the extra class. Still you have so much of query. I hope in the flip-flop section also you will put forward the questions. Okay, so if the S value is 0, then this output is going to be 0. Okay. So I can write in this fashion. You can just write in your copy. So three things are required for this. One is the truth table, another is the symbol, another is the circuit diagram. For every four flip-flops, what is required for the lab, this truth table, please note it down in your copy, because while validation phase I will be requiring this portion. So prior to that, you just understand the thing. Set means what? When we are talking about the set of something, means that value is going to be 1. Okay. And when we are talking about resetting something, that value is going to be 0. So we generally write this value as